The one who shouts the loudest is almost always covering up a void. True power has a quiet confidence. It feels no need to put on a show. Calmness is not idleness. It's the art of executing perfectly without all the drama. While others get swept up, the master stays grounded. Control isn't found in frantic action. It's found in steady poise. This is the cornerstone of inner discipline. Yet, it's a concept so many struggle with because we are taught from a young age that our feelings define us. We tell ourselves, I am bitter, I am lonely, I am defeated. These aren't your identity. They are just weather patterns moving through your awareness. Picture the vast, deep ocean. The chaotic waves on the surface are your feelings, but you are the immense, stable sea beneath it all, unbothered, undisturbed. The turmoil you feel is not you. You are the quiet depth where that turmoil plays out. When somebody pushes your buttons, criticizes you, or tries to get a rise out of you, the instinctual response is a surge of heat that rushes through you. Your pulse quickens, your breathing becomes shallow, your jaw tightens, and suddenly you are lost in that reaction. But in that heat, you lose sight of the single thing that gives you true strength. You lose sight of your ability to choose. That watchful part of you is constantly available. It is the awareness in you that can witness the anger building. It is the part that notices the inner voice shouting, but it doesn't join in. It observes the hurricane of emotion but remains safely in its eye. This quiet witness, that is your true self. Inside the Shaolin temple, monks are not training for external combat. Their training is an internal battle to conquer themselves. Every disciplined movement, every focused inhale, every moment of stillness is a method for taming the mind. To see without being swept away, to acknowledge the spark of anger and then to release it like letting go of a tense rope. They understand that to conquer life you must first conquer your inner world, and to achieve that, you must align not with the fleeting emotions, but with the boundless awareness that perceives everything. When a person directs an insult at you or attempts to wound your ego, you have to see that their words are just vibrations in the air. What turns those vibrations into a weapon is your reaction to them. You are conditioned to think their view of you is important. You are conditioned to believe your ego needs protection. But that deeper observer doesn't require defense. The observer knows that holding your peace isn't weakness, it's a sign of profound clarity. Ask yourself this: who truly pays the price for your rage? Who gets wounded when you spin out of control? It's never the one who set you off, it's you. You're the one who carries that hot coal inside you. You're the one who gets burned from within. And in doing so, you sacrifice your tranquility, your perspective, and your very foundation. When you operate from that place of the observer, you stop being a puppet to outside events. You stop letting other people's storms dictate your dance. You set your own rhythm, you determine your own journey. And that journey is made with composure, not with fury, with insight, not with knee-jerk reactions. Release the urge to have a comeback for everything. Release the pressure to always be correct. Release the belief that your emotions are your ultimate reality. They are guests passing through your house, not the owners. Treat them with acknowledgement, but never hand them the keys to the front door. It demands incredible strength to sit with your frustration and not lash out. It demands real discipline to feel slighted and yet opt for silence instead of a fight. It requires genuine power to sense the tempest brewing inside and remain as solid as a mountain. This isn't about suppressing feelings. This isn't a sign of weakness. This is self-command. This is the wisdom of knowing you are the space behind the feeling, never the feeling itself. You are the infinite sky, not the temporary cloud. And the more you condition your mind to witness instead of react, the more you'll discover that very little has the power to disrupt you. Because no disturbance can enter your inner fortress unless you grant it permission. And once you begin to live from this state of awareness, your entire presence changes. You speak with less desperate haste and more deliberate intention. You can listen fully without planning your rebuttal. You embody a sense of peace not as a nice idea but as your default setting. This is precisely why the observer is immune to chaos. He doesn't fight against it. He sees it, understands it, and then allows it to pass. Your strength is not determined by what you feel, but by how you choose to respond to what you feel. Each time you choose to observe without reacting, you fortify your spirit. You become more unshakable, and nobody can rattle a person who is anchored in their own awareness. So, when fury comes knocking, when criticism arrives, when a tidal wave of emotion rises, remind yourself of this truth. You are not that wave. You are the quiet ocean beneath it all. Breathing, watching, and staying whole. Just breathe, just watch, and you will stay sovereign. The external world isn't the issue. Your hook to it is. So many people go through their lives desperately trying to manage everything around them. They try to influence people, manipulate outcomes, sidestep challenges, and hunt for certainty. But regardless of how much they rearrange the furniture of their lives, the internal struggle never ceases. They are left wondering why they still feel so rattled, why they get triggered, why they can't escape their anger. The reality is both simple and profoundly difficult to absorb. Nothing outside yourself has the power to disturb you unless there is already a hook inside you for it to grab onto. You don't get angry because of their comment. You get angry because their comment hooked onto a sensitive belief you carry. You don't feel hurt because of their actions. You feel hurt because your expectation of them was violated. These inner hooks are invisible, yet they steer your life without you even noticing. Attachment is the unseen cord that tethers your inner peace to something or someone else. When that external thing shifts, your sense of well-being shifts right along with it. At the Shaolin Temple, monks learn detachment not from a place of coldness, but from a deep understanding that true liberty and attachment cannot coexist. If you're hooked on getting approval, you're enslaved by everyone's opinion. If you're hooked on staying comfortable, you will live in fear of challenge. If you're hooked on certain people, you will eventually lose your own center. Things will always change. People will enter your life and they will exit. They'll agree with you one day and challenge you the next. They might support you and then they might vanish. The climate will change. The seasons will cycle. The universe will never pause to cater to your desires. And if your calm depends on the world perfectly aligning with your wishes, you are signing up for a constant battle with existence itself. When you feel bothered by something, ask yourself, what am I hooked on right now? What personal story is this situation poking at? What part of my identity feels under attack? You will nearly always find that your pain isn't born from the event, but from the narrative you've wrapped around that event. If a person overlooks you and you feel wounded, it's not their silence that stings you. It is your deeply rooted belief that your value depends on being noticed. It is your hook to recognition that generates the ache, not their lack of attention. If a peer finds success and you feel a pang of envy, it's not their victory that causes your unease. It is your hook to social comparison. It is your ingrained belief that their gain highlights your own lack. This is why the Shaolin discipline isn't focused on controlling the external world. It is focused on mastering the internal one. The instant you unhook yourself, you become liberated. Not because bad things stop happening, but because nothing can compromise your inner stability anymore. Detachment isn't about pushing life away, it's about engaging with it more fully. When you give up the desperate need for things to be a certain way, you start to appreciate them for what they are. You live in the now, not in reaction. You stay anchored, not tossed about. You cease your war with reality and begin to move with its current. If someone is disrespectful, but you aren't hooked on being respected, their words will have no place to land inside you. If someone opposes your view, but you aren't hooked on being right, you will feel no compulsion to argue. If someone leaves you but you aren't hooked on their presence, you remain complete because your self-worth was never outsourced to them in the first place. Release the desire to be validated, the desire to be correct, the desire to be in command, the desire for everything to unfold as you planned. These desires are the very chains that bind you to a life of suffering. It's not the downpour that saws your day, it's your expectation of a sunny sky. It's not the backed-up highway that makes you irate, it's your hook to arriving quickly. It's not someone else's quietness that causes you pain, it's your own deep-seated need for their focus. Existence becomes profoundly simple when you stop insisting that it conform to your demands. You start to navigate life with a new lightness, free from friction. You welcome what appears. You let go of what departs. You give up the futile effort of bending the universe to your personal will. Instead, you learn to adapt your own mind to embrace what is. When your tranquility is anchored in something timeless and internal, not temporary and external, you carry yourself with a unique grace. You are no longer swayed by shifting opinions, background noise, unfolding chaos, or perceived failures. You witness everything and you choose to act only when it serves a purpose. Not out of defensiveness, not out of ego, not out of rage, but from a place of deep inner clarity. And this clarity emerges when the chatter of attachment subsides. It arrives when you grasp that peace was never a destination you had to reach in the outside world. It was right there inside you, always just waiting for you to clear away the debris. Not by trying to control more, but by being willing to let go. This journey isn't about accumulating more things. It's about needing fewer. It's about ceasing the hunt for stability in things that are inherently fleeting. It's about ending the quest for approval from people who are bound to change. It's about dismantling the identity you built on what you have. When you truly let go, you don't actually lose a thing. You gain it all. You gain your freedom, your fortitude, your presence, and a peace that cannot be shaken. So, abandon the fantasy that the world owes you a specific performance for you to feel happy. It is never the world that disrupts you. It is your own desperate clinging to how you think it's supposed to be. Once you dissolve that attachment, nothing can really get to you, because there's nothing left inside you for the world to latch onto. That is genuine strength, that is genuine peace, that is genuine freedom. Continue on this path with unburdened hands and a truly open heart. Your energy is directed by your focus. You must train your attention. Countless people move through life feeling drained, not from the weight of their work, but because they constantly leak vital energy through pointless distractions, emotional outbursts, and internal static. They let their focus get dragged in 100 different directions, never pausing to question where it's being invested or if that investment is worthwhile. You can't steer your own life if you don't first steer your own attention. Your energy is a finite resource. Every single second you invest in thoughts that don't uplift you, every second you spend reacting to things that don't merit your energy, you are eroding your own inner foundation. The modern world is deafening, and it is desperate for your focus. A constant battle is being waged for it: your smartphone, your anxieties, your ego, the drama of others. The inner warrior, however, chooses a different course. They know that attention is not some cheap commodity, it is a sacred power. If you habitually concentrate on what infuriates you, you will mold yourself into an infuriated person. If you relentlessly seek out what's wrong with everything, you will inhabit a reality that mirrors that negativity. If your mind is perpetually glued to your past, you can't create a new future. And if you surrender your focus to what others think, you will become deaf to the sound of your own truth. This is exactly why mental training isn't a luxury, it is a necessity. Think of your focus like a beam of light. If it's scattered and diffused, it has no power. But when you concentrate it, it can burn through obstacles. At the Shaolin Temple, every posture, every breath, and every period of silence is designed to sharpen that beam. The monks aren't just building strong bodies with martial arts. They are forging disciplined minds, because a powerful body with an undisciplined mind is a recipe for chaos, while a sharp mind in a weak body lacks the grounding to be effective. Focus is cultivated in the quiet moments, through consistent practice, by leaning into discomfort, and with immense patience. When you sit with your own breathing and feel your mind wander, your simple act of returning your attention again and again is what builds spiritual muscle. When you maintain your focus on your purpose, even as the world around you erupts with a symphony of distractions, you are crafting an unshakable will. Most people aren't exhausted from doing too much, they are exhausted from being spread too thin. Their focus is fragmented across 1,000 trivial matters, none of which provides any real nourishment or peace. When your vital energy is diluted, your personal power evaporates. But when that same energy is laser-focused, your very presence becomes a force. To achieve a state where others cannot disturb you, you must stop offering them your attention so freely. This isn't about being uncaring, it's about recognizing your inner peace is too precious to be given away. When someone tries to provoke you, what they truly want is your reaction. They are hungry for your energy, and when you give it to them, you are simply fueling their fire. But if you hold your focus inward, if you decline to react, you maintain command. You don't leak energy, you consolidate it. Discipline is simply focused attention put into action. It is choosing to be present when your mind desperately wants to escape. It is choosing to remain poised when the outside world attempts to bait you. It is choosing the more difficult path, not because it feels pleasant in the moment, but because it forges lasting strength. Take an inventory of where your focus is allocated each day. Is it dedicated to constructing your inner temple, or is it squandered trying to manage others' perceptions? Is it invested in honing your skills, or is it lost in the futile game of comparing yourself to others? Is your energy being used to build and create, or is it being drained by complaint and blame? You can't soar if your gaze is fixed on the dirt. You can't flourish if your mind is always on what you're missing. You can't achieve self-mastery if you are perpetually side-eyeing everyone else. Where your attention goes, your life force flows. Where your energy flows, your life's garden grows. And when your attention is anchored in stillness, presence, and clear intention, your entire existence will begin to mirror that same potency. The majority of things vying for your attention don't deserve it. The majority of your problems aren't as solid as you think. They are merely shadows amplified by your focus. Withdraw your focus, and the shadow shrinks. Reclaim your energy, and the storm inside you calms. You have to become the vigilant guardian of your own attention. Be ruthlessly selective about where it goes and who is worthy of receiving it. Your focus literally shapes your reality. If you give it away carelessly, you will lose your way. But if you direct it with unwavering purpose, you will become a force of nature. Your peace, your power, and your progress all have their roots in this one practice. The more you hone it, the less the world can touch you, because you are no longer handing out your personal power for free. Keep your eyes on your own path. Keep your energy centered within, and let every action you take be a testament to your discipline and awareness. Stillness is not a void, it is mastery in its quietest form. In a world that relentlessly screams at you to do more, talk louder, and go faster, the most profound demonstration of strength is to stay perfectly still while others frantically react. It is to remain silent when others escalate their volume, and to hold your ground when everything around you starts to tremble. Stillness isn't the opposite of power, it is its most concentrated and refined state. It is the signature of a mind that isn't hijacked by the immediate moment, but instead perceives the entire landscape beyond the noise. It is the self-control of a person trained not to make a move unless it's strategic, not to utter a word unless it has weight, and not to enter a fight unless that fight has true meaning. People mistake non-reaction for weakness. The reality is, if you react to every single thing, you are not in command. You are a marionette being pulled by the strings of your own emotions, your pride, your fears, and your ego. The person who reacts instantly isn't free. They are a prisoner of their own habits. They are governed by what they feel, not by what they truly know. But the one who can remain still is sovereign. They witness an emotion swell up inside, and they simply watch it. They hear the sharp sting of an insult, but they do not recoil. They feel the internal storm, but they are not swept away, because they understand that stillness isn't passive. It is profoundly active. It is dynamic. It is awareness itself, honed to a razor's edge. In the Shaolin tradition, stillness is a practice just as crucial as any physical movement. Monks will hold silent postures for extended periods, not as a form of self-punishment, but to forge a disciplined mind. Each moment spent in stillness reinforces the lesson that they are not on this earth to chase down every passing thought, to indulge every flicker of feeling, or to answer every single provocation. Their purpose is to stay anchored, unshakable, and completely present in the now. Genuine stillness arises when you have absolutely nothing left to prove. It comes when you have let go of the need to be seen or to be heard. It appears when you no longer require external validation or a sense of victory. It blooms when your sense of self is no longer anchored to how people behave towards you or their opinion of you. It is born from the realization that silence isn't a sign of weakness. It is the language of wisdom. In that quiet stillness you find immense clarity. You perceive things that others overlook because their energy is consumed by reacting. You hear truths that others cannot because they are too busy talking. You discover solutions not by battling harder, but by waiting with greater patience. And in that intentional waiting, the real path forward reveals itself. Don't fall for the illusion that noise equals power. Never confuse aggression for genuine strength. The individual who constantly has to speak, to defend, to argue, and to fight is very often the most fragile one, because their mind cannot tolerate silence. Their heart cannot handle discomfort. Their ego cannot bear being invisible. But the person who is genuinely strong has no need to respond to every challenge. They don't need to win every small skirmish, because they know that most battles are just clever distractions. They are invitations to abandon your peace and to squander your precious energy. If you accept these invitations, you are trading your inner stillness for a fleeting moment of ego gratification. When someone provokes you and you hold your stillness, you have already won. Not a victory over them, but a victory over yourself, the reactive self, the proud self, the insecure self. You have demonstrated that you are no longer driven by your lower impulses, but guided by your higher awareness. Stillness does not imply a lack of action. It means right action. It means responding from a place of wisdom, not reacting from a place of emotion. It means moving from awareness, not from impulse. It means patiently awaiting the opportune moment, and when that moment arrives, acting with precision, force, and absolute purpose. To be still is to be alert. To be still is to remain composed while everyone around you panics. To be still is to listen deeply before you speak, to think deeply before you move, and to be fundamentally unmoved when others attempt to unbalance you. Stillness is the bedrock of discipline. It serves as a perfect mirror reflecting the state of your mind. If your mind is a whirlwind of chaos, you will be incapable of sitting still. If your heart is full of turmoil, you will be unable to embrace silence. If your spirit is in unrest, you will not find calm. But if you dedicate yourself daily to sitting in silence, to breathing through discomfort, to holding your position without being pulled off center, you start to cultivate a strength that is invisible to the eye but felt by everyone around you. You begin to radiate an energy of presence, composure, and focus. And when others look at your composure, they won't see weakness. They will see depth. They will sense power that is under complete and total control. Stillness is the art of possessing a sharp sword but feeling no need to swing it. It is holding your territory without needing to boast about it. It's the ability to be at peace even when the world is in flames, yet remaining ever ready to act the moment your purpose summons you. When you master stillness, you start to see that most things are unworthy of your reaction. Most arguments are hollow. Most chaos is just background static. Most people are just acting as mirrors, reflecting back their own unhealed pain. And if you choose to absorb all of that, you will inevitably lose your own foundation. But if you choose to remain still, you reflect none of it back. You absorb none of it. You let it all pass through you, like the wind moving through the leaves of a tree. And nothing can ever disturb you unless you consent to it. This is the path of the master. This is the discipline of the one who walks with silence, not as an escape, but as their greatest weapon. The still mind is the ultimate mind. The still person is the most formidable person, because they can no longer be played by emotion or shattered by noise. Train your mind to achieve stillness, and you will see the world with perfect clarity. Train your heart to be calm, and you will feel life on a profound level. Train your body to be unmoved, and you will walk through any chaos completely untouched. Stillness is not the final destination. It is the very foundation from which all true and powerful action is born. It is the silent space where power patiently waits for the right time to move with pure intention and unshakable clarity. And that right there is the path to total mastery.